Good evening all. Just sorting out, been in another Zoom call. I see your message there, Paul. Let's go on to a decent camera. Assuming this is working, which it isn't. So I'll go on to the laptop camera for now. Okay. Sorry, just been involved in a Zoom call planning for Cat 21 on Saturday, so had to reconfigure quickly. But good evening all. We've got Mike G0MJW, John G7JTT. G7JTT first, please. If you can get ready to transmit, John, we'll put you up first. Announcements for tonight. CQTV, you should have all just received an email about it, going out tonight, available for download. Big news, of course, is Cat 21, which starts at 9:30 on Saturday, and that will be on Zoom on the link that's come out to you in the CQTV email and on the BATC streamer. There will also be an engineering link that's available for viewing on QO100 on this frequency, these parameters. So that'll be from 9:30 on Saturday. And don't forget, we're having the QO100 evening party on on this frequency, 7:30 on Saturday. Slightly earlier, we'll do it at 7:30 because I hope to have lots of people on. So please try and join us for a quick 5-minute over about what you've done during the year at 7:30 on Saturday. With that, I'll put it straight round to John G7JTT to take it, and then it'll be Mike MJW after that, and I'll do the rest of the list once I look at the other computer from G8GKQ.
I'm not quite sure if there was somebody underneath it then. Might have just been the usual bump, was that? Anyway, if there is, I'm sure somebody will say. Right, very good evening all. I didn't expect to come on first. Right, let's just mute this quickly. Yes, I've actually had a few days off, so hence I'm actually here and looking reasonably awake, etc. So I don't know why my audio seems to be clipping so much at the moment. Just put it down a bit. It's probably better there. Right. Yeah, haven't really been doing too much, to be honest. Been playing around on VLF again, mainly just to try and teach myself how to use this piece of software, Spectrum Labs, which, to be honest with you, it's way above my great pay grade. It's a fantastic piece of software, but it really is involved, shall we say. But anyway, I will just quickly try and send you some pictures of it. Let's see if this actually works. That was something I received earlier. I'm assuming it's some sort of switch mode power supply, but that's sped up quite fast to get the actual waveform in there. But that was on around about 80 hertz or so. Then it got me thinking. I was actually looking for Zev, don't quite pronounce it, ZEVS, which is on 82 kilohertz. But this thing was on there and it was causing all sorts of issues. But anyway, what I then found was that when I went on to this, which is the much slower speed, what do we call it? Scroll speed, that's what it was before. That's the two mark and space points, and then it actually switches off. And as it switched off, the 82 kilohertz carrier come up. So I'm not sure if that is actually what I was looking for or not, because I seem to find that different places show you different things. Some just show you a carrier at 82 kilohertz, and others show that it's actually modulated between roughly those two frequencies. So don't know. Hopefully it is, because if it is, that's certainly the lowest thing I've ever managed to receive other than 50 hertz. But anyway, we should keep monitoring it through the night and see what happens. So really, other than that, I haven't really done much else. It's just basically, as I say, for me, just to try and learn how to use all this lot. Let's get rid of that. In amongst all this, you've got the various different bits and pieces you can turn on and off. That's the noise bank, all the commands and parameters and stuff for it, which I just keep playing with until something works or something doesn't work. But the results are that without all that, you cannot see these signals. We are about minus 140 dB, something like that. Whereas when that's all turned off, you're sort of anywhere up to about 80, 90, minus 80 or minus 90 dB. So it really makes a massive difference. Oh, and there's also filters, bandpass filters on there, which are only 10 hertz wide, which is probably a bit too narrow, but anyway, it's working. So there we go. That's pretty much it from me. Hopefully some find it of interest. And with that, I shall pass it round to Mike, G0MJW, G7JTT.
Yeah, right, sorry for the long test card. It was I was just not quite set up, and I've got two systems running, so it's a bit confusing at times. I was distracted. I've got a few things to show, and I will do them a bit at a time, I guess. Did a test with the dish and measured 10 dB of sun noise, which was not too bad, but could be better, so a bit of work to do that, find out what's going on. Anyway, let's show you some progress, perhaps. So, bench camera, which is not pointing at the bench, it's pointing here, just in front of me. This is this 5-inch screen with the Ryde. It's not supposed to work like this. It's showing myself, of course, which is going to cause confusion. But it's working, and you can do all the usual stuff with it. Let me just show you what I'm doing. I'm using a remote control. So menu, let's try somewhere else. Presets, let's go for the beacon. So there we go. Beacon isn't quite working properly, but it's on there. And that was the 5-inch screen. I've done a 3D print for it, so that you can basically see put it on a panel, and it really is very, very small and portable. To give you some idea, you can't really tell when it's zoomed in, but much smaller than the 7-inch. So that was good, and there we are. Now other things. I don't think I'll have time to show it this time round, so maybe I'll show it next time round. But having made that, I realised that I needed a slightly better board for the back of it. So on the next over I'll show that, which I've designed in KiCad, which will do all the connections. So it's basically a respin of the GPIO board, but with a fan added to it and the power supply stuck on it, all the things I need to stick on the back of that Pi 4 to provide something useful. So that's what I've been up to. Right, so let's pass it on. It goes to M0YDH. Over to you, G0MJW.
Not open. We have audio. Right, muted. Good evening. Hello. Welcome to dear old Wolverhampton. And I've ventured back on after a pause, as the last time I was on I had a tremendous fright with out of control power, full power from the gym amp. And my God, this thing's got a lot of power. So we have been having a little rebuild. Apart from struggling with the Pluto, which which obviously comes from Hades and Hell because it's got a USB connector on it that fails often. I've built an accessory box, and that coupled with running the ports down on the Pluto power setting of -10, and what I'll show you now, if I slide the, if we go over to Shaky Pie Cam, he hasn't so yet another USB lead. But what's new is over here really, which is in this 1U box, are all the accessories, including the attenuator and the driver amp from AMSAT, which is now in a little enclosure to stop it radiating and doing naughty things. But this is a distribution unit that sorts out my it starts at 18 volts stuff, and has the switching for the bias T. I've got 3 bias T's in there because I've got 3 spare ports on the quad LNB outside, which I might get round to using, but I've only got 1 in at the moment, so that one's in, switched down to the TV setting, and that's rather nice because I've just got to come in here, turn the computer on and turn on 3 power supplies, not about 6, and everything gets going. So I'm really pleased with that. And the important thing is this toggle switch, because Noel revealed that you are all actually leaving the ports down in transmit. I'll come out of that and pop the old Gorilla Grip camera on the plank of wood, and that is indeed what I am doing. Let's put me in camera, in shot, there we are. And that's what I've been doing. Now if anybody wants to see the outside, then I'll need some, in the inside of the box I would need some cooperation, and you would need to fetch a picture of the box to transmit from my Twitter feed at M0YDH, and then you'll see what's in it. But in case you've not got anything to say, you could help me there, because I've only got ports down. I have not got onto OBS yet. However, that seems to be what we've been doing. I think we'll call it quits for now and pass it on to the next user, who is apparently going to be James, G0DQH. So I better put up my my comical test card. That's it. First class. I've seen that. And G0DQH.
Okay, have I got audio? I do. Good. Yeah, good evening everyone. And getting colder, but we're nice and snug up here in the shack, which is the study, 3rd bedroom of the house. I'm on the HD camera tonight.
I'm still working on the 290, which is, as you can see, just there. And I'm very close to this node, within, I think about a quarter of a mile from me. And I don't actually need much in the way of an aerial to pick him up either. And it's very, very strong signal, of course. But I've got very bad quality audio on receive, which I'm working on at the moment. Okay. A little bit different tonight because Mo and I last Saturday went down to Untitled Chapter, and here's a video of Untitled Chapter for those who haven't been going this way in Dorset, and I'll let it go through a second time because there was rather quick time in there. This was the home of Mr. Selfridge, of course. He had a series on television a few years ago, and very good it was too. And within, well, they've got a coffee shop there as well to the right, so if you do visit, it's well recommended. And within a couple of hundred yards of the castle is a very nice beach, and it's a long steps to get down to it. It's a super beach on the river, and it's a fabulous day. It was lovely yesterday, and there's no breaking away. And it was just a super day. It really was. And a bit misty, couldn't really see the area of it. I'm not clever enough to make all of these into one video, so I can talk very quickly. Just about to land on the right-hand side there. And coming around towards so there you go. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. Last days of summer, I'm afraid, and we're back into the cooler and not quite so good. Go back to the other camera. Right, I'll pass it on to the next person, who is G4FKK. This is G0DQH. Halfway between Southampton and Winchester in Chandler's Ford. A very good evening to everyone. I won't be back the next time, by the way. I should be in bed early. From G. Right, using a different webcam now. I don't know what's happening with Martin there. There's some very strange noises. I found, I think, the reason why my picture just wouldn't stay on. It was breaking up and no sound. It kept jumping all over the place. And I discovered that it was my webcam cable, the USB cable on the C920E, which I've been using all right up to now, and it's got breaks in it, so it works sometimes. So I've ordered a new cable for it. They're available, and the webcam I'm using now is slightly different. It's the HD webcam. See if that'll focus. Yeah, this is the one I'm using now. So I would be very interested if you could give me reports on whether this is okay compared to previously. I'll just keep watching the screen in case Martin's coming on next. Don't hand it to the wrong one. But yeah, and then I read in CQTV, where I just started reading it, and there's an interesting article from Dave about the webcams. Yep. And you mentioned the C920A and didn't actually say whether it was suitable or not. So maybe I've been using the wrong one. But there you go. I don't know what the audio level is like. I think the audio on this webcam is much louder than it has been before. So I'd be interested in reports on that anyway. I've also been playing with these amplifiers, quite a few of these, which are quite a nice amplifier. They're very low power compared to the ones I have been doing. But you can see I've just soldered some SMA plugs on them, sockets I should say, straight onto the board at an angle, and they make a very good connection, and they seem to work okay. But they're very variable in power level. They vary at 2.4 gigs between about 25 watts maximum output and 110 watts maximum output, which is a colossal difference. I can only put this down to the actual of the power transistors, because I've tried tuning them. I've tried the snowflake tuning, and I can't make any great difference at all. It hardly makes any change. So just have to put up with them as they are, but they are very easy to use and seem to work quite nicely. Anyway, I'm just going to have a quick look. Is Martin going to try again? Are we going to see? No, over to Colin, he says. Oh, hang on. No. G4FKK. Back to Martin to try again. So G4FKK from G7NTG.
with the web.
Well, I'll give it another whirl, see what happens this time, if anything. Oh, that sounds better. G4FKK, yeah, thanks Jim. I've no idea what happened there. I think the Pluto must have filled its buffer or something. I agree with David, Pluto is the work of the devil sometimes. Anyway, I've not been well, this is my excuse. I'm, well, as of midnight tonight, I'm apparently officially allowed out. Yeah. May have been someone jamming. Anyway, there was a big narrow carrier. I cut my carrier, and so there was video there as well. So I don't know what's going on. It's all too much. Yeah. So I was talking to Graham G3XTZ, who many years ago we did the very first ever mobile QSO on 136 kilohertz. So that was, I discovered him on Top Band earlier today. So that was good. So yeah, interested in that, John. Mike, the 5-inch screen looks very good. And I was thinking about getting one of those, but then I got struck down. David, nice to see you up again. And James, I think everyone said your microphone audio was a bit low, but the video was very nice, and it was nice to hear the waves crashing against the beach. It was very atmospheric, and I missed a bit of your over, Jim, because I was fiddling about with stuff here. I don't know quite what happened there, but that little amplifier looks very good. Right, well, that's probably enough from me for this over, so I'll see if I can put it round to Colin. But thank you all for persevering. I've got not much to show you because I've been thinking of other things the last week or so. G4KLB to take it with the BATC Thursday Net. This is G4FKK standing by.
Okay, thanks a lot, Martin. Oh, I've gone a bit weird there. There we are, that's it. Just waiting for some audio to come through. There we go, that's alright, that's working. Excellent. Not as loud as some, maybe, but there we are. Anyway, very good evening. Yeah, it's been a busy time. I'll only be on once this time, just be one go today, because I have to, unfortunately have to go off to work, so... So, one of the... that's the work of the devil, I think, really. But the Pluto's working fine at the moment, so no problem. What have I been doing this week? Okay, I'll switch this camera on. We'll go for shaky cam, and you can see there is the comparison between the 7-inch screen and the 5-inch screen. So there it is. You can see it's all working. So everything's going well on that. It's actually quite clean. It's the same resolution as the 7 actually. This one is the one that Rob got this one from the Pi Hut, so that's where that one's come from. And there are others as well. The one that Mike's got is a different one, the DF Robot one, which he got from Mauser. But I went for that. Oh, I can have a look around it, can't we? This is a joy. It's not connected to anything else yet, but that's what this one looks like on the underside. Comes with the ribbon cable. The Pi's under there. At the minute, it's just got a little small heatsink. I've got a different heatsink and fan coming for it, and this one is sporting the new port stand interface, which is coming soon up there. So that's I've mounted it in this orientation so I can get a bit of air movement in between. Incidentally, these standoffs, and this is a bit of an experiment actually, these standoffs came with this kit, so I thought let's just see if they fit, and they just about do. You can just see I haven't soldered this one yet, but there is enough room. You could use those standoffs if you want to. The ones I have been using are fractionally shorter, but these ones came with it, so that's what we've been using. If I can get that to stay there. You don't want to stay there, do you? Anyway, anyway, there it is. I just find somewhere to park the thing now. The other thing is I finally got the American. I had a couple of screws missing on this amplifier, so we managed to find 5 on eBay. I only needed 4 for £1 or something. So I've managed to fit the SMAs now. So that is more or less ready to go. I've got this one yet to do the driver for it, but I haven't worked out exactly. There is a CQTV article, but I don't know if that's still current. I propose to change the second stage with something else, as it's a bit of an unknown quantity, that one. So anyway, that's a work in progress. Right, okay, so there's all sorts going on here, We're still carrying on playing with relays and bits and pieces, and yeah, and I've finished this one off as well, except that I haven't decided whether I'm going to use the onboard 8 volts or whether supply 8 volts separately, as I have got it. So I've done this one as it's supposed to be. Let's have a look now. There we are. Yeah, this the new version of the 8-band RF switch, which has got the modifications to reduce the power that's delivered to the switch, which is all around that area, and a little change over there with a value where put a 0 ohm resistor in there, and then oh, not very good at camera work, it would seem. So that one's ready to go, apart from I've just got to decide how I'm going to actually power the thing. This will be for the next build we're on to. So let me see. There we are. That's it. There we are. There we go. So that's there's multiple projects on the go here all at once, as is usually the case, and the inconvenience of having to go to work is really becoming a bit of an issue, really. It just takes too much time out of the day. That's the trouble, or the night, depending what it is. So we've got to do nights this time. Right. Okay. Yeah, I saw that signal on the top. I don't know what that was. That was most peculiar, wasn't it? Most peculiar, that one. But nonetheless, let's have a look then. I've lost the list now. I think it's over to Northern Ireland. GI4DOH, I think, is next to take it. G4KLB. There we go. 2 audio streams, hopefully not. Right. There we go. That's it.
G4KLB of the group GI4DOH. Just making sure that I have actually got audio there. Yeah, good evening all, and commiserations, Colin, on having to go to work. It is nice not having to do that, although I never seem to have any more time than the days when I did work. And just on the 8-way switch, I just happened to be playing with one of those at the moment, with packaging and ports down for maybe waffle about that later. John, 7JTT, they use the Spectrum Lab. I use that to do a little sort of pan adapter display of the audio from my K3 just close in around the sort of audio peak filter frequency, because you need to be within 3 or 4 hertz for that to be effective, and just got a wee pan adapter to, and I know it was a pain getting that configured. The other thing is Windows, when Windows does updates, it has a tendency to reset the configuration of the audio ports on Windows, and I suddenly find that what had been a stereo input has become mono again. I've got a sub receiver on the HF rig, so spent an awful lot of heartache over that. Lots of hours to achieve very little, but all part of the challenge. And then you get it sorted. You don't touch it for a long time, and something goes wrong, and you got to relearn everything again. Not for the sense sorted. And David, YDH, what you were saying about the got a new Pluto last week from DigiKey. It actually arrived from the States, or direct from the States, which surprised me. But it frees up my otherwise ruggedized one. And I did note that the USB ports on the new one do seem to have a bit more grip, and there's a bit more of a positive feel when you plug the USB cable in, but I'm not going to mess about plugging and unplugging. It's connected, and I'm not planning to touch it. No, it'll stay where it is. I also note that they've shifted the oscillator, and I assume it's more stable, and I don't need to mess about changing the oscillator on it. And it fitted the BATC little relay board inside for PTT, so that's all sorted, connected in, and not going to be touched now. And I can use the other Pluto as spectrum analyzer and all the other things you can do with the Pluto. The other thing that arrived in the post was a little heatsink, nothing special, but it will fit nicely on top of the Hammond box, and that should be adequate for the little 10-watt QRP Labs 10-meter amplifier that I got to continue down the path of trying to get QRV on 10 meters with DATV. So that's probably enough from me for the moment. I'll pass it on round to you, Bernie. G4 HJV with the group. This is GI4DOH.
Okay, Bernie. Let's mute that. Yeah, imbalance. Oh, somebody came up on top of me there. That wasn't instability, Bernie. That was imbalance, or I'm sure you know it's imbalance in the DATV Express. I've seen that on when I've used DATV Express like that. So I don't think it was instability, but yeah, I don't think Martin's was a Pluto problem. I think it might have been somebody on top of you. There certainly seems to be a few problems tonight, and I was guilty of that because instead of cutting carrier when I first started, I reduced my power by 10 dB, and everybody thought I'd dropped, and I didn't see that I was still transmitting, but 10 dB lower. But there you go. So apologies for that. The 5-inch screen looks very nice. It will work with ports down without much modification on the ports down 4, and I suppose it'll work on the ports down 2020. Don't think anybody's tried it yet. I might have a look at that. David M0YDH, yeah, your power supply unit, I like the look of that. Let's show everybody what it looks like. I did grab that from Twitter. Looks very neat inside. I thought it was worth putting that up. I particularly like the power poles on the panel there. So let's go back to me. There we go. Bernie, yep, if you can come back on after me, and then we'll slot Noel in before it goes round again to John. Jim, your C920 looks very good. The C920E I haven't played with at all. The C930E I have tried to support, but I'm not sure I did a very good job of it. Richard, the 8-way switch, before you put any lime into the front of it, make sure you read the article in CQTV that's just come out. That'll save you blowing up the chip potentially if you use a lime with it, but maybe you're using a Pluto, in which case there's no problem. For me this week, main activity has been prepping for Cat 21, trying to get just turn the power up a bit. Trying to get all the organisation done for that, and my own presentations, and also to get a Ryde update sorted. I think I've got something that's reasonable now that will do DVB-T, and that will be issued probably tomorrow, assuming we don't find any more problems with it, although people are trying hard. The only little bit of construction I've done is on my 3.4 gigs, but nothing worth showing. So we'll go round to Bernie and then to Noel. But yeah, Tim, don't worry about the bugs. I don't think many of them are. I think they're just features. G4HJW and the net G8GKQ.
Right, so that looks okay now, and apologies about that. I reset the, as you probably would expect, I reset the DATV Express. That's the first time it's happened to me. Yes, okay, thank you, Dave. Audio is right. May as well force you to look at me, sorry about that. And a lot of gremlins on tonight, and I've had a few here, apart from the one you just saw. The laptop that I have on the internet was failing, and I'm not very good when there's more than one variable, so it was a struggle. Anyway, this week myself and 3 others, we had a really good Sunday. Glad Noel's coming on next. We did get out on 122 gigs, and I'll put up just 2 pictures so you can see who was in there. So you see Dave, who's watching us now, was on, and there was Jenny GZVQH and G8MLA, and in effect we worked as a pair. So on that picture there you can see you can just see my dish feed. Dave was just using a horn, and we really did do very well. I think we was all very happy, and it's okay, Dave, and we're really quite pleased. So yeah, that was pretty good. I'll just fetch up another picture. I'm on vMix, so inevitably I've only got the 4 screens, so I'm using them up to put Dave on there. I'll just come. Oh, has that crashed now? This is annoying. I'm having a terrible night tonight, as are some of the others, but yes, somebody will tell me if the video is gone. Oh, that's better. Right. So let me bring up the other end of that link, which was G8MLA and G0VQH, which was pretty good. Bring that up, fade it over. It was 3.3 kilometers, which I suppose you could laugh at, really. But we were all very pleased. It was our first time out. We did some checking at Jenny's. We met up at Jenny's and then went out. Yes, that's right. This last Sunday, Roger, and was really pleased. I was using. Let's have a think. Jenny was using the VK3 CV feed with a solid dish, about the same size as mine, but I was using a Sky dish with sticky back aluminium tape on it. I think I showed it last week. Oh, good, thank you, Mike. Well, considering the only one that didn't fully work out was horn to horn. So you saw in that previous picture that Dave was using a horn, and so was G8MLA. I'll just come back off there. And we could hear quietening, but not audio. So we put contest results in, but of course it's really just to advertise our presence. And I know there are others in the contest because I had a few emails on optical stuff just to say, well, we've been out as well. So that'll be good. Well, collision avoidance, yes, I suppose it's a good thing, Mike. But it's been fun anyway. The issue was it was fun. Just quickly on a few other notes, I've had a stock of Gigatech amplifiers, and I don't like the huge gain in those, so I'm actually chopping boards up. These are the ones that are well out of band, so I can separate the power MMICs from the output stage and work on them separately. I'm quite happy with doing that. Yeah, CQ, CT, TV didn't do too bad, Dave, for articles in the end, did you? It's chocker this month, so it's very good to have a quick look through there. And I think, Richard, you talked about retirement. I absolutely agree with you. It's very definitely on the plus side. The danger for somebody like me is laziness, but that hasn't taken over yet, and it's very enjoyable. Right, that'll do. On to you, Noel, and say nice things about our 122 gig, please. The only test card I've got is that. Sorry, I'll have to go up. So G8, well, Noel. I can't remember. I can't do 2 things at once. G4 HJW, putting it over to you.
Right, good evening all. Apologies, I was a little bit late. I could probably do a bit more audio. Don't know if Dave mentioned it, but that was a CAT 21 final panic meeting we were holding. So because Dave and Tammy from Norfolk are going to be doing the video switching for us this time, so I was in a deep discussion with them about various things. Anyway, on with the topics. Sorry I missed everybody else, so I shall just can't comment on anybody else, but I shall just go off on one, and I'll follow from where Bernie started. So the first thing is, I had a bit of a disastrous week, or a couple of weeks running up to the contest, and my 122 gigahertz board failed, so it is now out. So I can actually show you a picture of it just to show everybody what we're talking about. So that is the 122 gigahertz board that we all bought from some of us bought from the VKs, and it is collision. The chip, the little chip right in the centre of the board, is out of car collision radar detection, and that little chip there actually generates 122, and that's amazing. So then all we do is put a so I'll explain that in a moment. So the chip in the middle is that chip. Then the other two chips are an ADF 4153, which is a fairly standard synthesizer part that generates a 1.9 gigahertz reference, and the other bigger chip is just a PIC controlling it all. So that's how simple they are. And so those of us who are saying we got onto 122, we did it the easy way. We bought this board from Australia. The other thing that let's go. Better just reset that. I'll just show this if I can. So this is a horn that came with it. So when Bernie talks about using the VK horn, that the four holes there, the mechanical holes there, this just fits over the top of that chip in the middle of the PCB. It is a 20 dB horn. So and so when Bernie said his guys were using the basic horn, that's what they were using, and 3 kilometers on that is pretty fair actually. It's pretty good. We did go out on Sunday as well, and sorry Bernie, we started on a 12k path, and that was hard work. Because I was messing around with a new dish feed, which I will show you. Sorry, that didn't work out as well as that's the new shiny dish feed there, and it didn't work out as well as I had hoped, and I didn't actually manage to make it on the 12k path, but room for improvement I think is the answer. And so the other station G1 EHF moved to a 8k path, of which that is a picture. So he was up there on that tree line there, and that was 8 kilometers, and we had good QSOs over that distance, so that worked quite well. But then we got a bit distracted. Bernie will be well impressed. The three of us, because I was out with John G8ACE and Dave G1 EHF, and we got a bit distracted because we'd all taken our Finningley optical gear. Yes, it would, David, if we didn't go over the top of it. So we'd all taken our optical gear, so we got diverted. I'm afraid we got interested in doing optical, so we actually had an 8k QSO on optical, This is my Finningley in a box. So that's just one of Bernie's wonderful Finningley optical transceivers. I think it's about a half a watt LED, isn't it? Where's it gone? There it is. In that box, and Dave had one at the other end, and we had an 8K optical QSO, not TV unfortunately, but Dave G1 EHF was running a Finningley, but he forgot to bring a microphone, so he actually plugged a loudspeaker into it, and he made this recording. Now I haven't actually played this, so let's see what it sounds like.
This is very much like the BBC back in 1925. G1 EHF Portable, Golf 1 Echo, Hotel Foxtrot Portable, over.
Tell him to do it again, I've got more.
Okay, this is G1 EHF Portable. Golf 1 Echo, Hotel Foxtrot Portable at Woodgarston Reservoir. This is Oscar 91, Kilo Hotel 10 Charlie Delta. This is Oscar 91 Kilo Hotel 10 Charlie Delta over a range of approximately 8 kilometres. 8 kilometres using a Finningley transmitter and a loudspeaker as a microphone. This is a loudspeaker as a microphone, so the audio frequency response will probably be quite poor. This is Golf 1 Echo Hotel Foxtrot Portable G1 EHF.
So yeah, that says it all. So that's what we've been up to. What else have we done? One other thing. So yeah, that says it all. So that's what we've been. One other thing, as you all know, because we publicised it, it was Dish Day today, and I did have a look at. The sun was shining in Basingstoke, believe it or not, at the magic moment, and I took a picture of my dish because what it actually told me is I've got to get the chainsaw out and do a little pruning. So this is what my dish. So that's what my dish looked like at about 10:59 this morning. And as you can see, there's some pesky trees, leaves. But you can do it for. There's about a 5-day window, mate. If you look at the calculator, it's a 5-day window, but as you can see there are some pesky trees putting a bit of shadow on the dish, so sometime in the winter, that is actually, that's my out of interest as well, that is my I can zoom in and just show you this. Wrong way. That's my Polish PA and feeder. That feeder is ex-BBC UHF transmitter hall, rated at about 3 kilowatts, and that's after I burnt out the SMA, the military SMA cable. So that's a really, really, really chunky piece of coax there. So there we are, that's it. That's 2 overs in 1 from the GTZ shack, so there we go. Right. I haven't got a clue who it goes to. Let's have a look on the list. I presume it goes to JTT, does it? Looking at that. Yep. Okay, over to you, John. I've waffled on far too much. Almost did a KLB. So lots going on. G7 JTT to take it, G8 GTZ and the BATC Net.
trying to set something up, so bear with me a second. We've gone past it several times, but 15th is the 15th, yeah. Just do that. Right, okay. Right, so if I now switch over to here, let me just zoom in a bit. So that square thing you can see there, that is this house at. There's the sun. If I don't press this too hard, wrong way. I'm going to speed this up. This was this morning, basically. So, and the red thing's flying all over the place. That's the Starlink stuff. So if I pause it there, you'll see it's lower. Let me just go over this audio. It's lower than the satellite, but it's still exactly the same, within a couple of degrees. So a small dish probably wouldn't necessarily differentiate between the sun and SLSat, whereas some of the larger dishes, yeah, you could probably pick between the two. It did make a bit of a difference to mine this morning, although it was very busy as well, so it's very difficult to see exactly what effect it had. But anyway, so there we go. That's what it was like this morning. I could rewind it right away back to Monday, which would have been the 12th, was it? Something like that. Well, that's 9. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Right, there we go. So, and then you'll see that one probably will pass more within the square. There you go. So that's why you're right. Certainly the Monday one would have been the best one to have done, but unfortunately I was elsewhere. So anyway, that's always the case for me. And just to quickly, before I turn this thing off, this Starlink thing, for anybody that's into looking up into the sky, just watch this. This is just madness. All right, this is somewhat sped up, but it's just stream of stuff all the time. It's just incredible. Yeah. Anyway, let's get rid of that. And go back to that. So yes, the 122 stuff. I did toy with getting some of that, but I just don't have the time anymore. In fact, this week I actually managed to go and donate platelets for the first time in nearly 2 years, purely and simply because of work. So anyway, that wasn't. Oh yes, you were towards space now, exactly. So that's kind of where life is at the moment, and retiring. I was going next year. I was going to go ultra early at 55. Due to the pandemic, that's all pretty much been blown out of the water now. I just received some work stuff this morning, or a couple of days ago, whatever it was. I just got around to reading it with regards my pension, and it looks as if I can't actually take it until I'm 60. Sorry, God. So it looks as if I've got to work till 60 now. So wish me luck, because the way things are at the moment, I'm not quite sure that I'll make it. I think I'll be out working for somewhere else, I think. Anyway, 7-3s to everybody, and we better pass it on round to where was it? You can put the new stuff. Round to Mike again. Oh, and by the way, that software is Stellarium. So it's free. It's a brilliant piece of software. Highly recommend it, even if it's just to watch some stuff going around on your screen. It really is pretty good stuff. So anyway, right, with that, round to Mike. G0MJW in the group, G7JTT.
Right, thank you, John. One of the youngest people on, I expect, tonight, so interesting about retirement. Right, so a few things there. Taking up that theme, let's just hide the menu there and then go onto the desktop. And that is what I saw in terms of the uplift on Monday. So this axis here is time in seconds. This axis here is the noise floor in dB. And here, 0 is about here, which implies that my dish is not quite pointed right. And as the sun is drifting through the beam, you can see the noise floor go up and then go down again. And all that takes about 6-7 minutes, something like that. So that's what happened. And it's less than it should be. It should be more like 13 dB than 10 dB, I think. So I need to work on things, but it's okay. Right. What else? Oh yes, just a second. Does that? Yeah, that puts me at least in the picture, sort of, so you can see what I'm doing. This is the thing I was working on earlier. I got distracted and was made late. I don't know if anyone's interested in this, but the 5-inch screen that Colin was showing, mine's slightly different, but same concept, or even a Ryde for that matter. If you've got a monitor that you can mount something on the back of, and you can 3D print an adapter so you can mount a Pi on the back of an HDMI screen if it's got a standard one of those standard mounts. So this is the idea. You just make up this little PCB and put it on the top, and it's got a fan on it, and it's also got the power supply, because I'm fed up of trying to find 5-volt power supplies. So it didn't take very long, because it was all these things already existed in my my designs from the Ryde and from the Nooker. So that's the idea anyway. So I might get that made, I might not. I'll take the BATC logo off it if no one's interested. Yeah, so I'm not sure there was anything else, but good to see Martin again. Oh, I didn't actually put my picture on, did I? Sorry, I meant to do that. Good to see Martin again, and good to see everyone else on the net as well. I was going to have some comments for Colin, but seeing as he's not coming back, there's not a lot of point mentioning those now, so we'll try those later on. As for Starlink satellites, there's quite a lot of them. There's quite a lot of OneWeb satellites, and there are some other constellations with similarly thousands of them in there, so it's getting busy, yeah. But space is a big place. They're still a long way away, even though they look close. Okay, not much else to add. A few things arrived from eBay. So the Polycom, I got an interface today, which hopefully will allow me to look at that strange video format. If not, I'm a bit stumped with that, but we'll wait and see if that works. Oh, the other thing, Dave, there was something about an engineering feedback channel. I've not heard any more about that, but it sounds like I have to get up early on Saturday morning. So maybe you can comment. Right, round to David, M0YDH, G0MJW.
Hello, hello, let's see if we're on. Hello. Right, I heard my own audio, excellent. Okay, thanks Dave for putting the picture up. The world of OBS is yet to arrive here. I think I've got enough complexity for now, even with traditional test cards. Yes, other things I've been doing this week. Well, I had a call from Mr. Paul GAQA, and he said, can you go and fetch some donations? Oh, I says. And they're towards the Midlands Microwave Roundtable on the 5th of December over at Eaton Manor, to the other side of Wenlock Edge in Shropshire. So I said, okay, I'll give it a go. So Tom M6 Judy's and I went over, and it's ex-broadcast stuff from the decommissioning of TV stations. So on my desk here, and I do need to press the auto PID on here, mate, just a moment. That's it. On my desk here is turn it that way around with the labels, is a piece of juicy equipment. It seems to be an oscillator source and a frequency doubler, and I've got at least 4 of those to put in the bring and buy sale up in December. God knows what frequencies it is. Who knows? Anyway, I'm sure some of you microwave people will get madly excited about it. It says nearer 10X440A. You know, it's not my bag really. The other thing, well, as well as an awful lot of 1U boxes out of racks. Do you know anybody? Oh God! Do you know anybody who needs a lot of TNC and SMB leads? This is from a jack field at Red Roof ITV transmitting station. Look at them all. Not very amateur radio friendly, but I don't know. Will it do for NCR21 or some TV broadcast application in the hobby? Anyway, those will be up there, and whatever else we recover from our donor. It's looking quite interesting in that respect. So that's the 5th of December. Okay, it's great to see everybody on. It's nice to be involved. And what are we running? Oh, not too much. 70 or 80 watts TV, according to the gym meter. So into a 1.1 dish. So, and it seems quite stable. If you're still watching me, that's even better. Okay, I'm going to wish you all a happy weekend. I'm really keen to see the YouTube recording. I'm actually going to be I might catch Dave in the morning on the Portstown, but I'm actually going to go and see Box Stock. The Cigar Box Guitar Festival is on in Wolverhampton on Friday and Saturday, and I'm going to go to the free bit, the exhibition, workshops and trade stands on the Saturday, and then the Saturday concert. But I think I might be able to see the Portstown report at least from GHGKQ, and then I'm really hoping that you hang on tight and get the YouTube ready, because I really need to see what's going on. I have an interesting satellite or dish arrangement, which the law might put me off the air with it. Okay, I'm show the card and pass it on to G4FKK. Martin, come on Martin, will it work this time?
It might do, David. I don't know. I thought Jim was on next, but he didn't turn up. When I say Jim, I mean James, DQH. Also, I appear to be running rather more power than I usually do. Why is that? Hang on. That's a bit better. Right, yeah, very good. And yeah, apologies for all the cock-ups. It was the Pluto buffering up mic. That was the problem with the audio before, and the lack of video. But why it did that, I still don't really know, because I'd turned all the streaming off to it. But obviously it stored something up just to annoy me. So it would appear currently that I have to reboot the Pluto before every over, which is very dreary. Colin's gone. Oh yeah, I got. I think you got one of these, Mike, didn't you? I don't know if you've tried yours out yet. It's one of these RF switches. It doesn't look like the posh one that Colin and Richard are using, but it was quite cheap, so I got it. I've not tried it either. The other thing I did was update OBS, because everyone was doing that last week or the week before. And it seems to have, I used to, if I go to this camera, at the top of the picture, and you can just see it just about, right at the top of the picture, there's a little timer. And that used to be much bigger and have much more information on it. But that seemed to change when I updated OBS. But I don't think anyone else reported that. Dave, GKQ, I've been fiddling about with the Ryde. I don't know if you got my report, but it all seems to work extremely well. There's a few minor issues I found, but I think most of them are my fault. So there you go. What else have I got here? Oh, Bernie. I'm glad Noel came on, because I knew he'd been out doing optical stuff, so I thought you'd be interested in that. And the 122 gigahertz is, well, it's just ear-bleeding frequencies, as I used to call anything above 2 megs. And Noel, I thought the speaker mic sounded really good. Yes, I got about. Well, the beacon went from its usual MER of 9 down to about 3.5 here today, and but on Monday I didn't have any sun visible on Monday, and also I don't think I even bothered looking, because I was very poorly at that point. Yeah, that sun out display is really good, John. Stellarium. I shall have to have a look at that. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, I think they're talking about something else there. And Mike, I didn't know. I knew the Polycom had a secret control protocol, but you just mentioned it had an odd video format as well. So sounds like I won't be getting that done in any hurry. David, great to see you on again, and Box Stock, excellent. What's the one I went up to see in that neck of the woods? Bloodstock, I went to see once. I wasn't looking forward to it, but actually had a really good time. That was up, I think that was in Birmingham, not Wolverhampton, but that was quite funny. And Richard, Windows updates, yeah, my computer says it's got one of those to do. Oh, in fact, so does the other computer now. So that's annoying. And good evening to Rob, DTS, who's turned up but won't be transmitting. So good evening to you, Rob. Right, I think that's enough for me. Thank you very much for putting up with all the various cock-ups, and hopefully next week everything will be a lot smoother. Probably not. So with that, who's next? Oh, God, I've forgotten. Oh, it's Jim, isn't it? G7NTG. So perhaps you could remind me what that amplifier was that you were showing, Jim. G7NTG and the group. Good night, everyone. G4FKK. Bye-bye.
Right, so I'll just make sure I'm on and kill the sound. Yep, that's it. Right, the amplifier. While I think about it, Martin. There you go. That's these are from the usual Bison Electronics in Poland, and it has a 450 watt transistor on it, but it's right on the edge of its limit, working at 2.4 gigs, so it's tailed right off. But they work quite well, and they're variable. Different boards have different outputs. This one actually does 60 watts at 2.4 gigs, but they vary between about 25 and about 110.
So still a very useful board, and they've got a driver stage there as well, which gives it a total gain of about 30 dB at 2.4 gigs, so they're very useful. So there you go. And yes, in answer to Dave, I've been using this camera, if I hold it still long enough, this C920E, and that's the one I've been using for the last year. I didn't know there was a difference. I saw a new 920 going at a reasonable price and bought it. So there you go. This one's the other one, the HD webcam they call it. There you go. And for Mike or anybody else interested, myself a new old Bush radio. You can see up at the top of the picture, Bush AC81, which works fine. I had to do a bit of replace a few condensers, as they call them, and a couple of resistors, and it's good. It's exactly the same as the model as the very first radio I started listening to shortwaves on, and so it's got a place in my heart. And also, it was my first ever guitar amplifier. So anyway, with that, I believe it's round to Richard. So round to you, Richard. GI4DOH from G7NTG with the group.
G7NTG with the group GI4DOH. Yeah, just confirming that I can hear myself. Yes, all good stuff there. That Dave, you've got me worried about my my Lime SDR with the Portstown 4. I'm just trying to find out where my audio's coming through. Yeah, I've got that. I've taken a look at the CQTV 273 and the changes to the 8-way switchboard. My PCB is version 2.2, and the schematic that I used was supposedly mixing up my schematic in the parts list, is supposedly revision 2.1 dated 29th of March 2000 or so, that I can't read because it's too small on the screen. I could expand that. So I got the impression that the attenuator that I put on mine, yeah, the 29th of March 2018, so that's quite old. The attenuator on my board I split last week. I don't know exactly what the attenuation is, but it's certainly greater than the revised circuit diagram shown in CQTV 273, in that I've got the series resistor R3 at 220 ohms and R1 and R3 in the sort of pi attenuator at 68 ohms, and C16 is a 1 picofarad as opposed to the proposed 2.2 picofarad. So I'm sure the attenuation I have is more than the revised circuit. The other thing is I have actually put signals through it and haven't done any damages yet. It'll just show actually what I've got on the board, working on where the camera is. I've also built this, where's my finger? Should be allow for the time. Built a little low pass filter combination of 3 low pass filters for 4 meters, 2 meters and 70 centimeters as per the GM3 SEK application note 4, which did the rounds a few years ago with the Mitsubishi brick amplifiers. So that's haven't worked out what I'm going to do for the 13 centimeter band, but I came across this on eBay for 23 centimeters. It's one of the little sort of chip bandpass filters, and I think it's for 1260 megahertz. So the little SAW filters. So I'm hoping that will do me for 23 centimeters. Possibly a pipe cap filter, 22 millimeter pipe end for 13 centimeters. I haven't quite made up my mind on that. So that's all part of the ongoing packaging up a ports down for an 8 box, which is too small for all that I'm trying to put into it. I'm afraid I've always got a tendency to do that, as smaller boxes are cheaper. But it's a lot more blood, sweat and tears trying to fit everything in. So that's coming on, all part of the long term, getting portable and all the rest. So that's about it for me. Cat 21, I'm going to be there. Unfortunately, I've got to go for a COVID test. I have to be at a place about half an hour's drive away at 3 o'clock. I'm going in for a surgical procedure on Wednesday or something like that, and over here it's mandatory COVID test at one of their test centres a few days before doing that. So I'm going to have to nip out probably for an hour or more, which somewhat annoys me, but I guess I can catch up long term when it, I assume it'll all be online. So I wish you all best 7-3s. I'll see some of you at Cap 21 and pass it on round to Bernie, G4HJW with the group. This is GI4DOH.
It will be fine when I can find the microphone. There it is. Yes, thank you, Richard. G4HJW. It has been quite an interesting evening tonight, and I was pleased you came on, Noel, because you know, it was good that you put the videos on a couple of weeks ago on the 122, and that was a good G up for the rest of us. And it's pity John has gone, because I wanted to compliment him on his telescope and the driving software and whatever. That was fascinating, and I forgot completely to look at the sun going behind the satellite. So just one of those things, I guess. I did make a few notes. Yeah, I knew there were people on the contest because it was John ACE that had emailed me really about the Finningley and saying that the optical was being used. Right, there's audio on there. I'll take that off. So I did know that you were going to be out, Noel, and that he was, so that was good. Now, on that clip you played, which is very good, I was amazed that it sounded toppy, because I deliberately made the Finningley flat in terms of adding components to lift the HF end, and yet that sounded so toppy. I know the QSO was during the day, so that would damp down the FET, but I would have expected the noise to then be level, and not to sound, not to have all the high-end components, which was what I was hearing. So there we are. I'll just go over to a picture. And because you weren't here last week, I hope others will forgive me. That's what I had, Noel, and it was interesting. You see, a very Heath Robinson arrangement with the dish feed and what have you. And yet, it wasn't too... Jenny had solid dish, as I said earlier, solid dish, and not the horn feed, the other thing, chaparral feed. So I was able to compare the two, not exhaustively, because I think once we'd had the QSOs we were happy to finish. But that couldn't have been too far behind, and given that, I'll come back to the camera, given that my feed was that, since you were showing everybody else the feed, and that's an ice cream cornet former. And I chopped that in about a half was right to illuminate the dish reasonably well, but it wouldn't solder, so I had to use hot melt glue. It's about a 4mm minimum diameter, and that's pushed into the metalwork of an SMA bulkhead which sits over the board. So lots of things to not be optimum there, and yet it seemed to work out okay. So I was very pleased, as everybody else was, and yeah, obviously somebody else is going to win. Oh, I did find the software, because I'm not a contest person. I found the software, the contest software, very, very hard. I spent more time trying to get that to do its thing than we spent actually out on Sunday. And I'll certainly lose points because I just could not get it to work correctly. But we'll see anyway. For the rest of you who are regularly doing contests, you'll have forgotten how difficult that software is, or new intuitive when you're new to it. So have I covered everything else? Yeah, I've covered everything else. Oh yes, talking about condensers and those squiggly resistors that you used to have on circuit diagrams. There's a group of us meet up on Thursday, we did today, and GCNSD from, well, let's say St Ives, the Cambridge to St Ives, likes to keep old stuff. He brought over a variable capacitor in a glass case, and it was calibrated in microfarads, but I think the wording on it was jar. So Martin, I don't know that that's a figure from the distant past. Since you worked at the Beeb, this is not my comment about age, but it was interesting. I know we've got an old Admiralty book that talks about jars, which presumably goes back to the days of the old Leyden jar, which was very interesting. Right, I'm rabbiting, so I'll shut up and put it on to you, Noel. And I think we're all going to be interested to see how many people took part on the 122 gig contest. I assume there'll be others other than yourself and John and whoever was out on your link, so that will be good to see. So I'll put it over to you, Noel. G8GTZ and the net. Good night to everyone. Oh yes, look forward to Sunday, of course, or Saturday, whenever the conference is, and I'll at least see people then, I guess.
G8GTZ. Okay. Yes, nothing really to comment. I wasn't banking on having a second over, I must admit. But all very interesting. Good. Yes, I didn't seem to get on very well with this latest version of Ryde, I must admit. I still haven't managed to receive anything. So on DVB-T, and it seems to upset other things. But anyway, there we go. What else? Yes, entering logs for RSGB contests is just too much like hard work. I never bother to put entries in for any of the other contests because it is so hard. I don't run Minos. They like you to run Minos as a logging program, which I think I've got here somewhere, but I don't bother. I just do the online entry, and it just seems hard. So I might do for the 122 because that's quite important that we show we're active up there. I suspect Dave G1EHF has won, as he managed a 12 kilometre QSO and an 8 kilometre QSO. But it's good. Yeah, the best we've managed so far on the VK units is 17k, Bernie. So that's the target for you, 17k. So right, with that, don't think there's anything else from this end, and it is getting late, so I better go and show a face, and we'll catch you all on Saturday. Don't be late. Saturday morning, 9:30. Look forward to. Well, we won't see too. Well, I guess we will see you, but we're certainly going to make the lunchtime Q&A sessions interactive. So, right. Catch you later. Good night, everybody. And I guess it goes round to Dave. G8GKQ to take it. G8GTZ and the BATC Net.
G8GTZ and BATC Net G8GKQ. That sounds a little bit softer. It's not too bad. I think Noel was just quite loud. Can everybody hear me? Right. Some comments. Oh yes, thank you, Noel. Sun on the dish. I had a look at it on Monday, which I thought was the best day. That was the sun on my dish. You can see the shadow of the adjacent building to the left there, but just about enough room, I think. I needed to pack it away in the corner of the garden fairly well, so that was about the limit. Mike, I'll send you an email about Saturday. Yes, please, from about 9:20 onwards. Yeah, I don't know why I've suddenly gone quiet. I'll wind that up a bit. 5th of December, the equipment there, David, looks very interested. I did Google that number you read out, and that looks very interesting indeed. So look forward to that. Squiggly resistors. I always do my circuit diagrams with squiggly resistors, but there again I'm old and haven't been in the profession. That's what I'd had to use for the RAE, and haven't stopped since then. And DVB-T lock on the new Ryde, for those who've tried it. I don't think it takes any longer than it does on the ports down. It just doesn't give you any it doesn't give you the feedback, or the limited amount of feedback the ports down does. So but I will do some more testing, and thanks Tim for the new file. I'll have a go with that tomorrow and probably put that in the new release. So with that, look forward to seeing you all at 9:30 on Saturday, and don't forget 7:30 on Saturday evening for the next QO100 Net, and look forward to seeing you there. So G8GKQ closing the BATC Net for the night and leaving the frequency clear. Good night all.